details. Crack cold cases, Jody Loomis. At approximately 5:30 p.m. on August 23, 1972, a couple discovered a young woman in a desperate struggle for survival along a secluded dirt track. Shockingly, she was partially undressed and had sustained a gunshot wound to the head from a .22 caliber gun. This is the story of Jody Loomis. In Snohomish County, Washington, Jody Loomis resided with her family. She was the elder daughter of John and Rosemary Loomis, and her sister's name was Jana. Known for her outspoken nature, Jody had a compassionate spirit and always eager to aid others. Her aspirations led her to pursue nursing studies with dreams of joining her fiancé at the same hospital. Life seemed promising for this young woman until a tragic evening in 1972 brought a devastating end to her happiness. Jody set out from her residence, heading towards a stable located approximately 6 miles away. At roughly 5:30 p.m., Kathy Linack and her boyfriend discovered her in a dire situation along a secluded dirt track about halfway to her intended destination. The couple hurriedly transported her to the hospital, but tragically, she was declared deceased upon arrival. The fatal bullet had pierced above her right ear, and a subsequent autopsy affirmed that she had also been assaulted. For almost 50 years, the case was cold. Initially, leads had dwindled, and law enforcement nearly abandoned hope until the case was revived in 2008, sparked by an initiative from the sheriff's office to crack the long-dormant investigation. The boots that Loomis had worn on that fateful day were forwarded to a crime laboratory. A meticulous examination by a technician revealed a minute stain, later identified as semen, prompting the extraction of a DNA sample. However, upon analysis, the sample did not align with any of the male suspects previously considered in the case. A breakthrough didn't emerge until a decade later, in 2018, when investigators collaborated with forensic specialists from Parabont Nanolabs, a Virginia-based company renowned for aiding law enforcement in DNA analysis. Joining forces with independent genealogist Deb Stone, they utilized the public ancestry websites to narrow down potential suspects by uploading the genetic profile obtained from the case. Stone focused on employing genetic genealogy, a technique increasingly utilized in solving long-standing cold cases in recent years. Parabon Nanolabs, known for their assistance in multiple reopened investigations, including a 1976 double murder and assault in Wisconsin, a 1996 homicide in Idaho solved through a cigarette butt, and a 1988 abduction and murder of an 8-year-old in Indiana, contributed their expertise to the process. Before, DNA evidence from the crime scene was primarily compared to a specific suspect or entered into restricted national databases for direct matches. However, with the advent of genetic genealogy, this DNA evidence can now be submitted to the free GED Match website. GED Match then generates a roster of distant relatives connected to the perpetrator expanding the pool of potential leads. This capability enables investigators to start narrowing down individuals who might have had close ties or interactions with the victim, drawing upon additional public information. The investigation honed in on the Miller family, pinpointing Terrence Miller as their primary suspect. At the time of the assault, Terrence, who remained in the vicinity over the years, would have been 30 years old. He had retired as a heavy equipment operator and was engaged in selling ceramic items alongside his wife from their garage, a practice they'd upheld for about 43 years. However, Terrence's past revealed a troubling history. He had a previous conviction for lewd conduct in 1968 and was involved in the assaulting of a preteen girl in the 1970s. Additionally, there were allegations of him engaging in abuse of children. To confirm his involvement, undercover police officers shadowed Terrence and retrieved a discarded coffee cup from outside a local casino to compile his DNA profile. After more than 40 years, the discovery was made. Terrence's DNA sample was an exact match with the semen found on Jody's boot. Terrence was apprehended in April 2019. Terrence entered a plea of not guilty to the charges pressed against him. His trial commenced in late 2020, during which he opted not to testify. Laura Martin, Miller's appointed public defender, contended that the DNA evidence found on the boot was unreliable and attributed the lab's methods to a miscarriage of justice. Throughout the trial, Martin reportedly criticized the forensic scientists, describing their practices as sloppy, as cited by the Herald. She alleged that they had diluted samples, concealed specific findings, and failed to seek supervisory oversight. In a statement to the Washington Post, Martin asserted the crime lab breached protocols designed to ensure precise outcomes, obscured discrepancies, and suppressed records that cast doubt on the credibility of the DNA analysis. These protocols are in place to safeguard the innocent. Following 2 weeks of testimony and evidence presentation, the jury began their deliberations. However, before they could reach a verdict, Terrence took his own life on November 9, 2020. Despite being out on bond, having posted $1 million in bail, and instructed to surrender all firearms from his residence, he fatally shot himself at the age of 78. Shortly after Terrence's passing, the jury, unaware of his demise, eventually found him guilty of first-degree murder. A few hours later, in December 2020, the defense moved to annul the guilty verdict. Nonetheless, the conviction was upheld, despite the circumstances surrounding the defendant's death. After almost 5 decades marked by anguish and anxiety, the Snohomish County community finally received closure regarding the savage assault and killing of 20-year-old Jody Loomis. The woman who discovered Jody, Kathy Lennox, expressed relief, mentioning that the community can now find peace in their slumber. This unresolved case left such a lasting impact that it transformed the way residents in the community navigated their daily lives. I held her head up so she wouldn't be drooping, Kathy recounted. Back then, all you're worried about is getting her to a hospital, and very illegally, to get her there as soon as we could. Everything is going to be all right now, she continued. Everything is going to be all right because he's caught. He didn't get away with it. We appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoy these true stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest grim tales. Share your own close calls in the comments below, and remember, true tales can be truly twisted. Until next time, stay curious